Well, hello. Here I am. Maybe turn epidemic sound instrumental music down just a tad so we're not competing with too much. I want the background music so when I take a breath there's something coming across the airwaves. All right, so here we are. It's Friday. It's 11 o'clock. Phew, I've gotten a lot done by 11 o'clock. So the one thing I wanted to show you in my journey of entering the world of Tesla is let's get that epidemic out of the way. So as you can see here, you see this cord? Okay. That is a huge cord. And it has a plug on that end. It looks like that. It has a plug on that end. It looks like that. In other words, that end could plug into that end. So if you had two of these, this is a 50-footer. It weighs about 30 pounds. Now the cable is very flexible, even though it has two number 6. You know, if any of you know anything about cable diameters, that number 6 is, you hardly ever see a number 6 in the clips when you do a jump. You know, it's usually like a number 10. As the numbers go up, the diameter of the copper goes down. Well, the number 6 is, I don't know if you, I want to put this up in relation to my finger. Oops. Let's go to number 2. There we go. There you go. You see that wire right there in relation to my finger? That's the equivalent of a number 6. So it's a very thick bunch of copper. So what makes the wire flexible is that they use very fine copper. So there might be 100 threads of copper making up that number 6 gauge. So since all the copper inside the sheaths and all that stuff is such fine copper, it allows the cable to be very flexible. And it really needs to be very flexible because you have to lay one of these things out to get juice. This is one of the things, you know, when you get... I mean, it's not that they don't tell you. It's up to you to figure it out, actually. But so here's another one. This is a 30-footer. Gives you a little strap to carry it. See, 30 feet. It's basically $5 a foot, no matter what size you buy. You can just multiply it by $5 a foot, and you're in there within a couple of dollars of what it's going to cost. So if you're going to have a cable like that, you may as well have a 50-footer. Or have a 50 and a 30. So that way you've got 80 feet, and then you got 20 that Tesla gives you to plug in. So in theory, you've got 100 feet you could run between your car and the source. So, obviously one of the sources could be Uncle Bob's dryer, outlet. So, of course, when you buy this kind of crap, and you have to, I mean, if you're going to have an electric car, you need a bag like that to put the cable in so you can pick it up, take it out, store it in the front trunk, the frunk. All right, so here's another thing that you need. So, whoops, let's just do that. So this is a NEMA. You see the 2 pins are this way, and then you got the ground pen is straight. And of course, we want, so we want, this is a converter, so that it's going basically from a 230 volt at 30 amps to a 50 amp plug. Now you're not going to get any more amps, out of that. See, there it is again. You can see it's got a little thumb hole in there. Here's the prongs again. So that little doodad can save you a lot of effort. And, the camping community, so you use a 50 amp RV, which would be this, and then you adapt to that. See, here's all the little copper conductors I was talking about. Let me go to number 3 again, so now you can see a big one. So they have a whole bunch of conductors in each of the wires. Not too sure what this calcium carbonate does. Probably keeps the PVC flexible. And 100% copper conductor, high resistance insulation, PVC jacket. So that's something that you keep in your trunk. So I have this in my trunk, so I may use that to plug into Bob's dryer outlet, and then that'll convert that into this, and I got an extension cord going that's going to connect with this side, which will go 50 feet to my car. So if I want to fill up at Bob's, that's what you do. And the fill-up cost 150 miles cost $4.65 because it cost 3.1 cents per mile. That's what the charge is, knowing that Florida Power and Light is running at 10.8 cents per kilowatt. Yeah. So the math is not that complicated. I think I did it right. Anyway, so I got to the bottom of all this electrical stuff. This is all supposed to be done before you take delivery of the car. But I was more anxious with getting delivery of the car than dealing with all this stuff. And it just so happens that we're lucky enough to have a charging spot in our garage. Can you imagine? Well, a prominent doctor in the building decided to bend over and pay $2,000 for an electrician to run a 32 amp circuit out to the back of one of the columns right next to his car. So he plugs into that, and he's good to go. So I wrote him a letter and stuck it under his door. His name is Brian, Dr. Brian. And I said, Dr. Brian, I said, how about this? How about if we share that outlet? Because the outlet is actually the building property manager, but you paid to bring the electric out to there. So we'll make you the boss of the plug. I will run around your schedule. So he charged 2 nights ago. So, when I came back from work last night, I just backed right in there and charged my car up last night. So he charged 2 nights ago, I charged last night. So that's Thursday. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So by Tuesday, I'll be ready to plug in again, and get another 150, 160 miles worth of electricity in the tank, so to speak. Tank holds 310, actually 326, but they don't want you to use the top. They don't want you to go past 10%. So 90% of 326 is 290 something. Now, you can do it if you're on a trip, but they don't want you doing it every day. So I don't do it every day. I do it every week. I still have a little range anxiety. I shouldn't, because I can charge anytime I want to just by backing into the space after 5 o'clock. The guy, I believe, is a lawyer, and he does his lawyering, and then at 4:30, 5 o'clock, he's gone. Well, I come back at 5:30. I just park right in his spot, because his spot is only for him from 8 to 5. I can use it, from 5:01 until 7:59 in the morning. So that's what I do. I just leave it there all night. I plug it in. It's actually fully charged by midnight, because I'm not filling it up. I'm only going about 160 miles. So let's see what we did. I can look it up. Isn't this crazy? I'm dialing up the car now. Oops. So we're gonna do this. There we go. So now you can see it was filled to 80. Let's see, am I at 87% now? All right, let's get the calculator out. After a while, you get to know all these numbers. All right, so 287. 287 divided by 326 equals, 87. So this is telling you that my present state of charge. See, 87 is right there. So that's my state of charge. I'm charging up to 95%. So I can go up to 48 amps, but it only goes to 32, because that's all the telemarketer. I don't think so. So we added 138 miles last night. 33 kilowatts was added to the, so you want to do the math on what this cost? 33.11 kilowatts. So multiply that by, times 0.1, it's 10.8 cents per kilowatt. There you go. Come on, baby. There you go. 357. So that fill up would cost me $3.57. So I do that twice a week. So I'm using about $7 worth of electricity a week, because I do that twice. This says I added 138 miles, and when I charged up a few days ago, I added like 165 miles. So, it's roughly a 300-mile battery, and every 150 miles. When it gets down to 50%, I back in there and charge it up. And if the guy's in the spot, I do it the next day. There's only 2 Teslas in there, and we're the only 2 cars that are kind of like approved to plug into that. Most people don't even know that plug is even there, because it's on the back of the column. So, Dr. Brian has, had the sense to put the electric in. I put more stations, and unless you're driving 100,000 miles a year, you know, you could put a station there and you could say, okay, Mr. Smith, you can fill up there all you want, and you just pay us $30 a month for the use of that. And we'll give you a sticker which says that you can use that. And I don't know if they would have a locking mechanism or something on there, so that, you know, there aren't that many Teslas floating around, so. Anyway. So that's my little flight going to Fort Myers next week, I think, or the week after. Is not a big deal. It's a 150-mile trip, and I got a 300-mile gas tank, so to speak. So I have enough fuel in the battery to actually round trip it. Or I could go all the way over and come back, because 70 miles away from where we live is the Indian River, I forget what they call it. It's a big gas station on 75. That's not exactly in the middle of it. It's a little closer to the Broward County side. So it's 90 miles from where Bob lives, and it's 60 miles from where we live. And you add it together, that's where you get the 150. So I could stop in there and fill up. There are 10 superchargers in there, and I can fill it up with supercharge. Now, when you do that, you know, half a tank costs you $18 instead of $3. So Elon Musk is making some money on those superchargers. But he's got, you know, you got to pay for the equipment. You got to pay for a crew to drive around and make sure it's serviced, and, you know, people don't deface it and all that kind of crap. So you usually make a deal with the gas station guy, you know, and, you know, they take care of the superchargers so that Teslas can go in there, and you don't have to you don't have to go anywhere with your credit card, because when you plug in, it automatically hits whatever bank account you gave, you know, Tesla to buy the car, and they just keep whacking that card every time you go to so you don't have to, you know, swipe a credit card. It's pretty nice. You just plug it in, you fill up to how much juice you want. Now, if you got a place to fill up in your garage, then, you know, so you put 50 miles in there. You know, why bother filling it up? Just put 50 miles in there to get you home safely, you know, even though you can make it. But you don't want to make it and, you know, drive in there with 10 miles of range in your. I don't want to do that, because I'm not experienced enough with the car. Some people, that's how they do it when they go cross country. They run it right down, and they fill it up and run it all the way down. And I like to have 25% range in the battery at all times. You know, and, you know, I guess the 25%, I'm looking to fill it up with a charger. All right, well, you know, so our vice president's going to, a little political thing here. You know, why do you think the vice president all of a sudden decided, hey, let's go to the southern border? And she went to a southern border that's like, are you kidding? It's, you know, it's like going to Chicago to talk about what's going on in Manhattan. You know, if you got to talk about what's going on in Manhattan, you need to go to Manhattan. You don't go, you know, 800 miles away from, and that's what she did. She landed 800 miles from where, you know, the action is. Because there they is, see? Let's see, I got a story about this. So there she is. So she shows up, she gives speeches, you know, but this is not where the problem is. And guess why she decided all of a sudden to go there today? She decided that on Wednesday. Well, her staff decided on Wednesday. You know why? Because Trump is going there next week. And she had to get out there before Trump goes out there. You know, Trump's the former president. He goes out there before the actual vice president goes out. And, you know, she didn't do anything. She did nothing to talk about addressing. They don't want to slow down what's going on. They want everyone to hurry up, you know. Now the states, like Texas, are spending money to, you know, try to shut it down. Anyway, it's a mess. I don't understand why you'd want to let in a couple of million. That's about what it'll take, you know, before you get to 2022, the election year 2022, when the House supposedly is going to lose its majority to the Republicans. And then Biden is basically screwed from doing any legislative stuff for the second 2 years of his term. And, you know, they're jamming all this stuff through just because they can, you know. And then, you know, it's the same thing that mistake Obama made. When he got elected, he spent the first 2 years of his life jamming this Obamacare down the throats of everybody. And he burned up a lot of political capital. You know, they lost the Congress for the first time in 100 years. You know, Congress generally doesn't belong to Republican majorities. But it did during the Obama administration because he shoved the stuff down everyone's throat. And Obamacare is terrible. You know, they call it the Affordable Care Act. If anyone has actually looked at that act, it's anything but affordable. I mean, they have these names that are like backwards from what really the occurrence is. You know, my son looked into it. He's 35 years old, and it would cost him like $300 or $400 a month in a premium. And then there'd be a, you know, if he fell down and broke his leg, or if he was in a car and he got in a car accident, the deductible is like $8,000. Well, what the hell good is that? That's not insurance. That's like catastrophic insurance. That's not, you know, health care where it's going to help your, you know, where you go in to see a doctor and they prescribe vitamins and dietary things so that you're a healthier person, so you're not going to be in here that often. Oh, that's not what happened. Obamacare has huge deductibles, which makes it like crazy. I said, Brennan, you know, you're better off just self-insuring, but then see if you do that, Obamacare charges you $300 because you didn't take the insurance. How about that? They charge you $300 if you don't want to have this terrible insurance. And if you take the terrible insurance, it costs you $400 a month. You know, so for an extra $100 a month, you can have an insurance thing that has an $8,000 deductible. Now, I mean, it's just... Now, I don't know how these politicians get away with that. And then they call it the Affordable Care Act. You know, what? No, it's not affordable. It's the opposite of affordable. You know, anyway. So, that's all I'm going to say about politics right now. Next week is going to get a little exciting. Sorry for the little noise here. I'm adjusting all these. So this thing squeaks a little bit. And it goes right through. This microphone is like, it weighs 3 pounds. It is a really heavy duty. You see it's on this boom thing. And it picks up. You can even breathe into this thing and it can pick it up. Hey, yo. Okay, sports fans, you all have a nice, you know, we have a bedroom, guest bedroom number 2. We've got our own bedroom, and then we got a guest bedroom. Our own sister is coming into town in 10 days, something like that. A week and 2 weekends. And it's all ready. we've got, Marilyn ordered a bed. I had to put it together. It takes says, oh yeah, you can put it together in 2 hours. I said, Marilyn, NFW, you're not going to put this together in 2 hours. Let's try 4 hours. And I put it together, and my fingers are so, she helped me to do half of it. And then I had to do the half. It's a trundle bed, I call it a truffle bed. So you got a bed on top, and then you can roll out a bed underneath. And, we put 2 nice Sealy mattresses on there, so if you had 2 people coming over, one has and it's on wheels, so you can wheel it around, and, we can sleep 2 on that. We've got a blow-up bed that's unbelievable, and then, we've got 2 or 3 couches you can sleep on. So we could put 4 or 5 people in here if we had to. Anyway, so we got that room. It was like stuffed with boxes. Remember, it was so full of boxes, I put a sign in there that said storage room. Marilyn says, did you peel off that sticker yet? After I get done here, I'm going to peel it off. Because now it's actually, you can see the floor, you can mop the floor, you clean the floor. I have a air purifier in there, an Oric air purifier. It's a real good one with a very large, what do they call it, a Truman cell. So it has the little electrostatic wires, so which charges the particles as it gets pushed through. And then those particles stick onto the surfaces of the Truman cell. And it's all microscopic stuff, so I've got both Truman cells. I got one in my bedroom, and we got one in the guest bedroom. And it's on medium speed, so, the air will circulate around. It'll pull out, bacteria and dust and, So, anyway, that room is ready for a guest. We need some furniture in there. We got a lamp on a box, and so we need to buy a couple. We've never really furnished a guest bedroom, so we need to do that. Marilyn says when Judy gets down here, they'll shop and find it. I said okay, whatever. So that's the story, and I'm sticking with it. So, all right, so. I've been talking to you for 28 minutes and 56 seconds, covered a few topics, covered a little politics. We got vote counting going on. I'm looking at the headlines here. Someone, the public attorney's office in New York is trying to take Giuliani's law license away. These guys, please. He's allowed to be outspoken, and you don't take his license away because he's got a big mouth. And most of what he says has a lot of truth to it. And of course, gun sales are crazy because, I saw a story right here, Biden's trying to tighten up the gun laws. They always, the people that are killing people don't follow the laws. In other words, they have an illegal weapon. They stole it from somebody, or they bought it with the serial number scraped off. So it's an illegal weapon. So when they take possession of an illegal weapon, then they have illegal ammunition and illegal, so they've broken 10 laws. But do you think the criminal gives a crap? No. There are like 6,000 laws on the books. And when these bad guys get guns and start shooting people, you don't need to tighten up on the laws because that affects me. And I'm not out on the streets shooting people. So why are we, and that's what the liberals do. They want your guns registered. They don't, you're not allowed to have a gun with a barrel that's this long. It has to be only this long. They tighten up on all these regulations to make it more difficult for me to have something in my house, my little dwelling unit here, to protect myself against, bad guys breaking in the front door. And, all you got to do is look at Venezuela. And, the people that had guns survived, and the people that didn't have guns got shot, by the other people. So, guns are, I have 6 or 8 of them. I think I might get another one. I mean, it just makes me freaking nervous. Buy ammunition and buy a Glock handgun if you're at all interested in any kinds of weapons. A Glock is a very easy to use. Made in Austria. 65% of the police departments in the country carry Glock 9mm weapons. They went up and went to the 10mm, and they went to the ACP 45, which is they're a little more powerful bullets, but there's such stress on your hand that with the 9mm you can put a tight pattern and shoot 3 times to put the guy down, whereas with an ACP 45, boom, you shoot it, and it takes you a while to be able to shoot the next one. Yeah, anyway. So a Glock, 9mm Glock, that's what you want. Model 17 is the most popular handgun on the planet. 17 stands for the 17th patent that they filed. If you want to have a 9mm that's a little more compact, that you can put in your pocket or in your belt or something or other, you get a Model 23. That's a 9mm with a 3-inch barrel. The Model 17 has a 5-inch barrel, and the Model 19 has a 4-inch barrel. So you got a 3-inch barrel, 4-inch barrel, 5-inch barrel. So that's pretty much what you pick. So if you're into high levels of portability, you go the Glock 23. If you're looking for, the maximum accuracy, so forth, and the maximum number of, feet per second that the bullet comes out of the barrel, all that kind of stuff, ballistics, the Model 17 is the one. And the Model 19 is like a compromise. It's got a 4-inch barrel, and that's the one that the police departments are now everybody's moving to those. No, not everybody, because it's 65% of the police agencies. And that means 35% of the agencies are using other weapons. Anyway, so if you want to get something that many, and the reason why they're so popular is the maintenance is very low, and it's very easy to take them apart and clean all the pieces and put it back together again. Even when you're 103 years old, you can still do it. Maybe on the next show, I'll show you a couple of these weapons and take them apart here for you, so you can see what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, I plan on it. Next week I'll do that. All right, well, listen, you all have a nice weekend. I've been fooling around here for 35 minutes, and I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to put the Glock on my list of things to talk about, and we'll go back to epidemic. Have a great weekend. Go somewhere for happy hour and enjoy yourself.